What is up, everybody? I'm No Lux Given, and Happy New Year! What's up, everybody? Today's video is kind of like a successor to yesterday's video, the New Year's Eve video, so if you haven't seen that one already, go check it out before I accidentally spoil anything for you. But this game, I would say, kind of, in a way, inspired me putting out the New Year's Eve video in the way that I did. Basically just Apocalypse in general made me think about renewal, and when you're playing Apocalypse, you're building to that big anticipatory moment where then all of the sudden everything changes and everything is new again. And I think that Apocalypse is potentially, I mean, obviously yesterday's video was very silly, but Apocalypse in general, I would say, is probably a better New Year's Eve hero because of that big Apocalypse turn that is typically just such a big moment. Though, I will say, in maybe a sort of ironic way, or maybe it's metaphorical or something, in this game, not that much changes when I hit that Apocalypse turn. And I think that's partially because it's a crystal ball and Merlin's hat game, and we're also going to be hat balling. And that just means that like so much of my power before the Apocalypse turn is tied up in the treasures, and then so much after the Apocalypse turn is still tied up in what we can make out of those treasures. And yeah, kind of gives it a different feel. And like I said, maybe that's a metaphor for the fact that so much changes but so much stays the same. I don't know. I don't want to make it too corny here, but I don't know. Definitely makes you think at least a little bit, or maybe not. Who knows? Let's just play some Storybook Brawl. So we've picked up a bunch of characters, mostly evil ones so far, and some speculative ones, but a Forbidden Fruit allows me to go down to 43 health to be leading this lobby. We're going to lock on to this shop here. I just picked up some 2-cost things and rolled, but I want to hang on to a pair of stags that's just strong, even if it's not like immediately synergistic. And then, well, you can see where we're going from there. We're going to build a tier 3 treasure out of that, find a hat or a ball down the line. There is also the option here to pick up the True Love's Kiss. That could be kind of interesting, and shard one of the, or not shard, just kiss one of these stags here. But ultimately, I think that hanging on to the pair is probably a better pickup. Looks like those are both going to get to attack, so that'll be some nice power for this turn. We have a pretty strong backline here. Now, Zippy the Zombie already with a Nutcracker. That's a little bit scary. They could certainly be pretty strong down the line, but we get to grab some strong things here ourselves. We get to grab a second Lonely Prince and then a Good Witch and a Romeo to flip over both of our Lonely Princes that we have. So at this point, like, our Minotaurs aren't that strong, but we'll still potentially, I mean, I think we play the Romeo in replace of one of these Minotaurs, and then I guess I'll still just play one Minotaur in the back line. But a lot of different pairs here that we're working on. You guys might remember, I really like tier 2 treasures on Apocalypse. I don't like to get them super early, and especially in a case like this where we've got 3 pairs. Well, I'll say what I'm talking about here first. Runestones, or now Magic Runes, as it's called, is one of my favorite treasures on Apocalypse, because then once you hit level 6, you just try to pair off and triple off any of the tier 6 characters that you get. Then you get a level 7 treasure, and you try to take over the game from there, especially if you can find something like World Tree. That is really, really strong with the menagerie of characters that you have as Apocalypse. But I don't really want a Runestones right here, because I still have other treasures to potentially make in the future. And none of these, like, I think that we could take Shepherd's Sling, but we're going to power out of it soon enough. And there's some good tier 3 treasures as well. We're going to take a look at some of those in just a moment as we triple this stag. That'll let us see Treasure Map and Merlin's Hat. And like I've been saying, I do like getting ways to grab over-leveled treasures on Apocalypse, but we do still have the Minotaur that we can triple later on, and I don't want to grab a tier 4 treasure from that. And more importantly, Merlin's Hat is really good on Apocalypse as well. It allows you to, you know, just cast Stone Skin and some combat spells and things like that, but most importantly, it lets you cast XP spells cheaper and allows you to then roll heavier for those XP spells, because that's really all that we're trying to do right now on Apocalypse is level up, really. And if we can do that, then we can definitely find some nice power and add that to the board. So I think what we're going to wind up doing here, is we pick up a Cinderella. Again, I really do like the tier 2 treasures, so another chance to potentially find a magic runes is always good, so that's why I pick up Cinderella here. And then this pickup I think is a little bit interesting. I pick up a King Arthur and an Amy, and when I say interesting, I think I just mean wrong. I think that I should have just kept rolling for XP here. We're still at 43 health, so we're very strong. We can afford to take a little bit of damage and go down a little bit in power level. We get a little bit unlucky here, I think, to lose this combat. Maybe, I mean, we'll take a look at the win percentages afterwards. Obviously, my opponent has a pretty big vulture, but it was close. My opponent just had a Mad Mim left over there. And I guess we were 77% to lose. So, okay, that should have happened. Now we're playing up against the Ghost, though, and we do find the End to give us some additional XP. So that's really great. We also get to triple our Minotaur. Nothing super exciting there, just going to skip on those treasures. And then I lock on this shop just for Genie's Wish. So that way I can go Genie's Wish into Cinderella and flip that. And Genie's Wish, you know, maybe we could grab some XP for it. I think that this play is, again, potentially a little bit silly, but we had so much power earlier on this game that I suppose it doesn't really matter too much here. And just playing the King Arthur still, we're scaling a little bit up against the Ghost. All that scaling is going to go away with the new year as the ball drops, but at the very least, we can hang on to it for the next turn's combat. We're also going to be opening up the locked chest this turn. I think I probably spoiled what's inside there at this point. I mean, we would certainly take a treasure map. Though I guess we wouldn't even take a treasure map at this point. It would be awkward because we're about to activate this Cindy as well. But Cindy's going to give us magic runes, and the locked chest gives us the crystal ball. So we have everything that we were looking for here. Pretty sweet stuff. I'm going to pick up a Godmother here just to be strong for the end of the turn. I don't think I really need that, but I just want to lock onto XP this turn and cast it next turn, and works out perfectly for us. We get to lock onto this Wish Upon a Star. Next turn, we're just going to sell off our whole board and then buy that Wish Upon a Star. I'll also roll out one thing from the shop here. That's just good game. And we'll have a ton of gold going into 6.0, but the important thing here, like, we will be looking to triple a tier 6 character to grab a tier 7 treasure off the rune stones. But a lot of power is still going to come from the fact that we've got Crystal Ball and Merlin's Hat. So, like I said, we're still going to wind up playing into the hat ball of it all. And ultimately, because we don't have any mages right now, I mean, Godmother is technically a mage, but it's not really a mage in the form of mages comps. Right now, like, if we weren't APOC, what we would be doing is we would be rolling for mages and picking up mages. And we're APOC, and we're about to hit level 6, but we're still going to wind up rolling for mages. Like, I don't think that really changes much. It's still such a powerful comp, and it's still kind of early enough to have hat ball. It's 5.1 right now. Find a Scion of the Storm, that's going to work out. That's a mage. And Boom Hilda, now technically a mage. Now, we do see a Lordy in that shop. And I did say I would try to pair off any tier 6 character that we found, but not Lordy. We can do so much better than Lordy this game. We don't need to settle for that. We're going to pick up an Empress P, and then I'm also going to pick up a Lady of the Lake. And before the turn's over, I'm also going to grab a Spellweaver, and we can still grab this Aeon. I got to sell 4 things for it, but I'm not using Lordy, Pumpkin, Gumblegore, or Echo Wood. So sell off all 4 of those things. I put the Spellweaver back in. It's a pretty weak Spellweaver at this point, but we're also locking onto that Gigantify, I want to say it's called, for plus 10 attack there. So we're going to start off next turn by casting some spells, and then we're going to try to cast as many spells as possible. We're going to look for Scions of the Storm, and we're going to look for Empress Peas. Kind of a interesting hodgepodge, spells and peas, but one of my very first games when Empress P was re-released into the game in this form was a Mage's game, where I just said I'm gonna use it as like a good card to put Queen's Blessing on. I think that that can definitely be a reasonable use of the card. I don't pick up Sporko there, so that way I can have more rolls for Empress P, and it works out nicely. We get to lock onto an Empress P after picking up a Medusa this turn. Medusa is just good for econ, but because we didn't really cast any spells, it's actually nice that we can cut this Spellweaver for the turn, because that was really not doing too much for us. Now, Aeon misses the Slay there. Super high chances to Slay, but is going to miss it, and Cupid takes out our Boomhilda, so we're not doing super hot on this combat. We're going to take a little bit more damage here, take 10 down to 14, but now we get to really turn some things around, pick up a tier 7 treasure, and we don't really get any great options, but I think Magic Sword plus 100 with a good boy in the shop is still good enough. So that's what I am planning on picking up here. By the way, certainly could have considered at the end of last turn casting that Gingerbread House, especially as we had 2 characters in the shop that both scale off of their stats. We would have had to sell the Spellweaver to do it, and at the time maybe that seemed a little bit silly, especially if we could have picked up like a Black Prism off of the Empress P triple. But yeah, I mean, we could have benefited a little bit from those extra stats there. But I don't think that that play was like necessarily wrong. It was just, what do you want to prioritize more? And I think it's fine to hang on to Spellweaver just in case. Like, we really low rolled on those treasures there, and didn't really have too much to do with them because of that. Now, this opponent has gone a little bit crazy. They've got a bunch of Feasting Dragons, though we're really powerful once our Empress P dies, our upgraded Empress P, so we're kind of doing okay for now. And then we're just going to get back into the business of casting some spells, but I do like 4 or 5 rolls here, nothing, and we're going to need to find some more spells soon to add some things to the board. I started thinking, like, should I just buy a Robinwood? Should I just buy something? Then eventually the spells start coming, but I do decide to buy one more thing just because I felt like it kind of looked cool on the board. I'm going to buy a Court Wizard, and I think I will move some things around. I'm not sure if I do so this turn. I might wait until next turn to move some things around, but Court Wizard is a nice card because it's a mage, and then it's also going to scale off the good boy. Like, it's one of the most powerful interactions with Magic Sword plus 100, just because you throw a good boy there, then your Court Wizard gets plus 100 attack, and then that bonus attack really means something. I'm going to pick up a Hermes Magic Beans as we lock onto this Evil Twin, and I can throw the evil good boy into the Magic Sword plus 100 slot, and then the second good boy still gets to make nice use out of all of that. Up against a Trees opponent here, Zippy the Zombie. Looks like it's Trees Slay, which is kind of fun. They are going to slay up against us a little bit, but again, my ranged characters in the back just going to be way too big, so we're going to get the win and the kill onto that Nutcracker Zippy the Zombie. They had Coin of Sharon and Deck of Many Things off of some early Nutcrackers, but weren't quite able to crack it in the end game here. This is a little bit tricky. Like, when I draw spells that gain bonus attack or grant bonus attack, where do you put those? Do you put those on the evil good boy? You put those on the good boy? Put those on the Court Wizard? Something else entirely? Not totally sure, but we're going to wind up throwing most of those spells on the evil good boy, including this Knighthood here. That's also going to go onto the evil good boy. I'm buying the golden chicken just to cycle the shop a little bit, and looks like I'm not moving around my board again this turn. It's tricky because you do want your first good boy to still have some support on it, and that's the support's even going to mean more once it becomes an upgraded good boy, though I think that is when I make the change, funny enough, when the stats could matter even more potentially. There you go, there is a Court Wizard bonus attack doing some nice work. Donkey's going to survive, summon an Echo Wood, but it's not enough, and we take out the Potion Master here as well. So now I will Knighthood my evil good boy. Yeah, here we go, finally moving some things around, and I'm not sure if it's better or worse to have done that now, but with a Hermes Magic Beans to get things started off this evil good boy, we're really just going to be focusing more on the attack bonus and the Court Wizard of it all. And having said that, I think that I maybe should have bought the Sherwood Sure Shot in that last shop. Just to have an additional frontline royal that has to get attacked into, I think is generally pretty good. And now, like, seeing that this is potentially the last combat of the game, I'm actually eyeing up the Sleeping Princess here. And it might not seem like it's more powerful than a 56 health Scion of the Storm, but I think it might be. Because it's actually going to have more attack once our evil good boy dies, and if it gets attacked into, then we're going to be able to fire off a bonus attack with Court Wizard. So seemed pretty good to me. We are going to get that bonus attack with Court Wizard there, and then the Sleeping Princess is actually going to attack itself. So the bonus didn't really matter. And then we wind up putting my opponent down to 1. So very, very close one. 84% chance to win. I think we're looking pretty good. Let's just cast a few more spells on this upgraded good boy. Maybe flip this Scion of the Storm into something more relevant. Green Knight's kind of more relevant. It's also nice that it is a tree, so we can cast some spells on it. But we're not actually going to wind up throwing the Green Knight in. Like I said, I do really like the Court Wizard here. And then I think we're just going to finish off by rolling down. I don't think we... Oh, I guess we can throw one more True Love's Kiss on the Green Knight. Not really sure what I'm looking for there. Maybe another good boy or something. And then again, like trying to figure out what to cast these bonus attack spells on. Maybe I should have woken up my Sleeping Princess, if even just for fun. But this is where we are ultimately going to land a pretty strong board. To be totally honest, we've got a good boy up to 140 attack and 20 health, plus it's upgraded. Then we got another good boy. Empress P survives at 1 health. You can see just how much all of these stats matter. That's just enough to allow us to finish things off with one more bonus attack from Court Wizard. So there you go. A lot changes, a lot stays the same. I don't know. You can make your own metaphors out of it, but for today, that is going to be it for me. So thank you guys very much for watching. I'm No Luck's Given. Peace.